So now it is that your girl's recording. Let's go ahead. Let's start up this damn reaction, shall we? Olamasama. Olamasama. Shout outs to you, gang. The most glazed characters of all time in anime. Now, there is a two-parter to this. So we are watching the first one right now. So without further ado, let's jump into the next video, y'all. Let's do it.
Wait, what are those?
Oh no, those apple fritters were double glazed by mistake.
Double glazed. We'll take them.
Nah, that's crazy.
In every single series, there is typically at least one character that the fans tend to like a lot and gravitate towards. However, it can happen to a point where people start to go overboard with their love for a character and their praise for them starts to become suffocating. At this point, we ultimately stop using logic. This is a phenomenon known as glazing, and it tends to happen a lot in the anime community. However, there is nothing inherently wrong about glazing a character as long as it's only a couple people. The worst parts about glazing comes when a large majority of a character's fan base starts meat writing excessively, which essentially ruins all types of discourse around said character. Usually, I try my best not to be a hater, but glazing is a special exception to that. So in today's video, we're gonna look at some of the characters that people hype up the most, why they do it, and why they should tone it down a bit. Also,
I mean, at this rate, some of the glaze is kind of justified, and there's others to where it's just like, oh, nah, you're absolutely a glazer. But hey, listen, we're talking about anime and also no, not with the music, because I can give you a whole rundown on both topics. Nah, this is actually kind of sick. I snuck this comment in here. Well, let's continue, y'all.
shout out to this guy Epic Meme Lord 2258 because he suggested the idea and I thought it was a really good one. And like always, there will be anime spoilers but no manga spoilers. And the first character we'll be talking about is Itachi Uchiha. This guy's essentially the poster boy for glazed anime characters. Ask any anime fan from the 2010s whose fan base meat writes the most and they'll say Itachi 9 times out of 10. For as long as Naruto Shippuden's been out, people have been praising this man like he's their firstborn child. And honestly, if there's a character to praise, Itachi is admittedly a good option. He's easily one of the best written characters in Naruto as a whole and does the whole evil guy to good guy arc really well. When you first meet Itachi, it's clear that he's one of the biggest threats we've known at the time, and of course the main villain for Sasuke. All you know about him is that he killed the entire Uchiha clan and dipped, and to boot, he dogged.
I mean, but like, that's one of the coldest things, bro. Like you know, his character development is fire. So I can't even talk my shit. Even I'm just like, hey, listen, you know, is it really a glaze or he just really that nigga? Is it a glaze or is he really that nigga? As far as I'm concerned, game is game. Game is game. He's really that nigga though. So that's why I'm like, he could.
Sasuke during their first reunion. Fast forward to Shippuden and we learned the truth about his decisions and the reasons behind them. We learned that he was manipulated into ending the Uchiha clan, and even when we seen him seemingly hate his younger brother, we learned that he loved him so much and could never actually bring himself to end his life. It really pulls at the heartstrings at his death scene. And on a more serious note, in case any of y'all are doubting the impact of this character arc, someone actually deleted their own character build in real life because of Itachi's death. Couple this amazing twist with some cool abilities and you got yourself a fan favorite character. However, this combo proved to be a bit too potent because everyone and their grandmother has Itachi as their favorite character. I alluded to this earlier, but for like the past decade, Itachi has been the most glazed anime character. I don't even think it's close for real. It's even more impressive how many people glaze this man's very existence despite not having the most screen time. We all probably have at least one friend whose favorite Naruto character is Itachi. Someone watching this video probably has their favorite character as Itachi, and I guarantee you at least one person has this poster in their room as well. It's a part of the Glazer starter.
The robe is fire. The robe is fire. I see so many people with the contacts, this poster, and the robe. I think it's dope. Even I'm just like, hey, listen, he that nigga though. I'm just like, hey, listen, I would rock this robe and wear this out, not even at a con, like on some normal shit, bro. It's cool. So I can't even sit there and talk my shit with this. This one's justified.
Starter pack. Some glaze him so hard that they even want Itachi as a brother, which in my opinion,
After what he did, yeah, nah.
Doesn't seem like the best thing. So now that we got all the reasons for his glazing, we can talk about all the nonsense this guy's fans yap about, cause they be saying the wildest things ever. One of the main things being his potential. And low-key, before Megami, Itachi was one of the first potential men, but he just got cut out of the story early, which honestly is probably for the best. Imagine if Itachi had stayed alive and had a lot of feats against the top tiers in the verse. We'd actually never hear the end of it. And due to his lack of feats and pure headcanon, one of his fans' main talking points be like,
man, he had to get killed off because he was gonna be too strong.
which we can't even really prove. He might have just gotten power crept anyways.
But
Yeah.
Olama-sama, his hacks though, his genjutsu is too strong, it's overpowered.
Yeah, sure, I guess, but there are other people in the series with stronger genjutsu and hacks in general. He's not stopping no Biju bomb or anything like that unless he has a Susanoo active. And I know a lot of y'all be talking about the Yada mirror and the Totsuka blade, but that's not even an instant win if you just get speed blitz. And plus, if he got to the stage of the Susanoo, his eyes were probably cooked anyways. He also don't got no Senjutsu or Sage mode either. But somehow, the Itachi fans saw Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu and thought Itachi was unstoppable. I've even heard that a healthy Itachi is beating a base Madara, which I don't even know how people thought that was a serious argument. Or sometimes they'll
Hold on. Run that back.
the Itachi is fans saw Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu and thought Itachi was unstoppable. I've even heard that a healthy Itachi is beating a base Madara, which I don't even
All right, now this is where I'm saying that glaze is not being justified. Now we just think anything at this rate. You're kind of just throwing wrenches out there. Like, chill out. You think it isn't your Madara? That is a stretch. Okay, now we see where the glazing is that's not healthy.
even know how people thought that was
That's
a serious
not healthy.
argument. Or sometimes they'll try to sneak him into the top 3 or top 2 strongest Uchiha of all time. Like he has actually done nothing to prove that he's over Obito, Sasuke, or Madara. Is he even the strongest member of the Akatsuki? Before y'all rank him in the top 3 strongest Uchiha, we gotta get Itachi past Pain first. Then we can see if he can even touch Obito. All of this overinflated strength that Itachi theoretically has stems from all the gawk his fans give him half the time. However, the next character in this video is a bit more justified with this overinflated strength, because the next person we're talking about is none other than Aizen.
No way. No way. Aizen?
Alright, before y'all start tweaking out, we all know that Aizen is a dope villain. He doesn't really have much of a backstory to him besides what we saw in the flashback arc. And even then, he's still just the same Aizen we know that was just
I'm
scheming.
curious
In my
to know
opinion,
why.
the main draw to his character has to be his abilities and manipulation, and how well they work together. Not only is Aizen just dumb strong in terms of spiritual pressure, but he's also got a busted Zanpakuto that can manipulate the 5 senses of anyone who looks at it. And he's also dumb smart and has shown to be extremely calculated throughout the series. But I think the cherry on top for all of Aizen's glazers was when we saw the twist about Aizen planning all of Ichigo's battles. Literally all of them were planned. It's a mind crush for both Ichigo and the viewer, because the 200 something episodes you watched until this point were all planned by Aizen. However, we run into our first issue of Aizen glazers, the infamous all a part of my plan line, which has been used way too much by his fans. Aizen wins a poll, all a part of my plan. Aizen gets put up against free
I have seen quite a bit. What's up, Ultra? I've seen quite a bit of Aizen memes. Okay. Maybe I can understand with this one. Okay.
freaking
Okay.
Superman. All a part of
Okay.
my plan. You get chased by a whole truck by your friend. All a part of my plan. Like, we get it. We know he plans a lot. I guess Ichigo palming his face like a basketball was also part of his plan. Or that one time that Aizen got his Keto broken with one hand and was left dumbfounded. Was that also a part of his plan? Y'all Aizen fans be glazing this man so much, and I think some of y'all have actually deluded yourselves into thinking he's the smartest in the verse, when he stated himself that
He's
Urahara
clearly
is
not.
smarter. I don't even want to talk about how much some people will drag
The
his hacks to the
smartest
point where
in-
you got him
nah,
winning
not-
battles
not
against
the
like
smartest,
Dr.
at least.
Manhattan. Like, we gotta calm down. Aizen is very strong, but he's not some god of all anime or something. My other problem with Aizen is that he's one of the best manipulators in fiction, which is not a problem whatsoever, until you realize that Aizen has created a bunch of new fans that
You're hilarious. You streaming today was all part of Aizen's plan.
only like manipulators. Which, if you like manipulating type characters for their impact on the plot, that's perfectly fine. It's the people who actually think they're Aizen in real life. These are the bots that gaslight their friends and boast how they're like 5 steps ahead of everyone. Broski, you're not playing 5D chess or some genius among geniuses. You wanna be a genius? Hit the books, bro. You are not on Aizen level thinking. Now let's move on to the next character. If you're enjoying the slander so far, subscribe to the channel. And I'm making this
It's
plug
not
quick
even
because the next
slander.
character is a doozy. Oh gosh, where do I even start with this guy and his fans? Before y'all march into the comments and defend this man, let me just calm everyone down. I do like Shanks a lot, and I think he's a fine character in One Piece. I thought his strength was
Wow. You think he's wow. Glaze? Yeah? I know so many people like that. Me too. That's why I was just like, I could see the downfall of glazing Aizen as much as it is that they do. Like, Aizen cool, but like when they was saying like, oh, he's the smartest, like, oh, I'm trying to be just like this nigga, and then they do it in real life, it's just like, gang, listen, calm down. You do not have that level of manipulation skills of what you think that you do, or the level of smartness like that. Like, I feel like it is that we all have a tad bit of smart genes in us whenever it is we have an interest or a topic it is that we're really interested in. But be fucking for real here.
Portrayed well at points, him being shown as a top 5-ish character in strength. But all of these thoughts were null and void once I saw something monstrous, a force I never even knew could exist in this world. This thing is known as YT Shanks. In case you're unfamiliar with who this monster is, YT Shanks is invincible and a multiversal threat. No matter what, he can't be beat. Apparently, he could beat a prime Whitebeard with no devil fruit with just his sword and conqueror's haki alone. But that's not even the worst of it, as there are people who genuinely think that Shanks can 1v3 the OG admirals. How do you get this from any scene in One Piece? So after seeing consistent nonsense like this, the hater and
I don't even like listen, and I know what is it. I talked about this before. Do I know about this? Yes. Have I watched everything within One Piece? No. Solely because of the fact that it takes a bit for it to actually get into play. But am I familiar with the characters? Yes. But that right there is a fucking stretch. That is a fucking stretch. Again, let's be serious.
Just started to take control. I really did try my best to stop it, but I just couldn't help it. I had to accept who I was. I'm a true hater at heart. So let's get to it. Why on earth is Shanks so strong in his fans' eyes? Did I miss something? He's only in like 5 scenes or whatever, and he doesn't really fight anyone in the anime. Yet a lot of his fans just outright say he's the strongest in the verse, blindly. I guess the narrative is what pushes Shanks that high, but y'all are stretching it. This guy is dead tricking y'all into thinking he's strong. He used Wi-Fi hockey on some bum and made him run away, and this is what made y'all think he's top 1. And that's really all he's done. He hasn't done much else in the anime, unless him blocking a Kainu was that impressive to y'all. Congrats.
Dang.
You are now a Jinbei level Yonko. And before y'all say that I'm being illogical, you should already know by now.
I don't actually use logic when I do these things. I don't care what I read. It's about the agenda.
We should also talk about his rival, or lack thereof, because Mihawk is clearing this guy after he lost an arm. My goal, Mihawk don't like wasting his time unless it's with real threats like Don Krieg. As we all know, Mihawk is the strongest swordsman as his title suggests. Therefore, anyone else who uses a sword, aka a swordsman, is not stronger than Mihawk, meaning Zoro, Shiryu, Vista, and Shanks are all weaker than Mihawk. Shanks is not a hockey man, and he doesn't have a secret hockey expansion that can level everything in sight. He's a swordsman that is weaker than Mihawk, even if it's by a hair. And many Shanks fans will try to talk about him being 1 centimeter taller than Mihawk, therefore he's stronger. I wouldn't put it past Oda to do something like that, but still, if we're using height to try to cope for a character, it's time to let it go. Then we could talk about how Blackbeard was giving this guy the beats before he even had a devil fruit. He gave Shanks the work so bad that he started crying and snitching for everyone in sight. From the Gorosei to Whitebeard, he was yapping about how Blackbeard is too scary. And after Whitebeard didn't want to hear all the yapping, Shanks decided to attack this old man with stage 26 cancer and clashes with him using Conqueror's coded attacks. We now need sky splitting attacks for the elderly. And guess what? There's something else to mention as well. This clown was way too scared to go for the One Piece during the other Yonko's reign like Kaido and Big Mom, but so conveniently, after Luffy and Buggy become Yonkos, he decides to go after the One Piece. I guess that's just a big coincidence. This guy is a Walmart Goldie Roger, a Mihawk victim, pre-Devil Fruit Blackbeard victim, a red-haired rodent, hockey merchant, and caps at East Blue Sea Beast level. Congrats, bro. Oh my gosh. Oda, if you can hear me, kill off Shanks in the next arc, and my life
that's
yours.
And if he gets the off-screen treatment, even better. I don't ever have to hear the Shanks glazers ever again. Even after the ranting and the agenda pushing, I still do like Shanks,
he
but
went
please,
off.
Stop glazing him so much. There are definitely more characters to talk about like Toji, Goku, him, but that Shanks rant.
I am surprised Toji and Goku is not within this one. Do we have to go ahead and get into the second one now? Because this video is getting a little short. It's a little short.
Took a lot out of me. If y'all want a part 2 to this video, just tell me and I'll work on it. Hope y'all enjoyed.
I'm glad it is you mentioned about a part 2. Because we're going to go right into it. Now I'm curious to see what it is the other characters it is that you got going on here. So boom.
Okay, so in the last video, we went through a couple characters that get glazed a bit too much, and I asked if y'all wanted a part 2, and a bunch of y'all said yes, because I most definitely missed some of the main offenders. So in this video, I'm going to try and tie up as many loose ends as possible and talk about some more of the most glazed characters of all time. First,
You said Toji Glazers be falling to their knees 24/7 on the timeline. Yeah, I almost fell victim to it too. Even your girl almost fell victim to Toji.
First off, I want to talk about some honorable mentions, which are characters that I don't really think deserve to be here, but are glazed enough to talk about them. One of them being Thorfinn, more specifically, the I have no enemies mindset, which essentially culminates as Thorfinn realizing that this Viking life of unaliving people and searching for revenge was not really going anywhere good, so there was truly no reason to have enemies at that point. It's a very good mindset and it inspired a lot of positivity, but in my opinion, there were two key problems when this movement was going on. First off, a lot of people were dragging how revolutionary this mindset was in fiction. Like, it's crazy. If you only listen to his fans, you would have thought that Thorfinn was the first character who was looking for peace in his life and wanted to avoid having enemies. Like, we haven't seen that before. Thorfinn did it differently for sure, but someone like Naruto is one of the first people that pops into my mind when I think of not wanting / having enemies. The other half of the time, people wouldn't even follow the mindset. They'll yap about having no enemies, then an hour later, get on the game shouting the most foul rhetoric of all time.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill.
One of the other characters that I wanted to briefly mention is Guts, who isn't glazed like other characters. I think it's just that nowadays, Berserk is becoming more mainstream, so people are starting to do more Berserk related things, like getting the brand of sacrifice tattooed on them, which I would never do personally, because in the series it's supposed to summon demons, but that's probably the inner preacher in me tweaking out over it. I don't actually care if other people do it. And finally, the last character in the honorable mentions is Zoro. I was really debating putting Zoro in here because he does have a lot of glazers, but the Zoro fans are much more fierce and numerous than the Shanks fans, and I've already revealed that Sanji's my favorite of the two, so it probably wouldn't end well for me. So I guess all I say about Zoro is that he's a cool character, just has a lot of glazers.
That don't work. There's no way out of this one.
Damn.
You're done.
Nah, y'all are crazy if you actually thought I wasn't putting this man in the video. Luffy glaze makes sense because he's the MC, but this man Zoro be getting so much gawk from his fans, it's not even funny. Now, I think we all understand the appeal to Zoro. He's a really cool character and the vice captain of the Straw Hats, and he's consistently shown his loyalty to Luffy and the crew time after time.
Yep.
Plus, his fighting style is extremely unique because he uses 3 swords to fight people, and when he's getting serious, he puts on.
Hey, listen, for all my people within
Plus,
the anime
his fighting style is
community,
extremely unique because he uses 3 swords.
do you know the amount of times it is that I've seen people copy this same exact thing right here with the 3 swords? So you know what I'm saying? Yo, Reaper King, thank you so much for the 4 months. You silly, bro.
To fight people, and when he's getting serious, he puts on a bandana, which is honestly really cold. But y'all be glazing this man like he's the captain himself. Hint, hint. And what I mean by this is Zoro's inflated strength in the eyes of some of his fans. It's like YT Shanks again, but worse because it's not justified. Like, people really think that this man is an admiral level fighter or stronger. Like, how do we believe that Zoro is stronger than Kizaru? I don't care what we've seen in the manga. He's getting speed blitzed and beat by Kizaru 10 times out of 10. And don't tell me that I'm being crazy.
If you're going based off of by the manga itself, then maybe I might understand that. But off of the anime within itself, no.
Zoro fans brought this upon yourselves because the Zoro glaze doesn't even stop there. Remember ZKK, which was a theory going on during the Wano arc run in the manga? Out of all the theories and agendas in One Piece, this one actually had some people in a chokehold. Essentially, ZKK stands for Zoro kills Kaido, and people really thought this was finna happen. All of the delusion from the Zoro fans was culminating, and what did they get? Zoro pulled out his strongest move at the time, Ashura, against Kaido, and left him with a chest wound that Kaido kinda just walked off anyways. Did the Zoro fans really believe that Luffy wasn't gonna beat Kaido in the end? It only makes sense for the captain of the crew to defeat the Yonko, and that leads me to my next point for the Zoro glazers. There are a certain subgroup of people that believe that Zoro and Luffy are equal in strength. Yet again, I don't know what series you guys have read and or watched, but there is no way we are saying Zoro is—
You're not slick for putting this in here. You're not slick for putting that in there.
It's the same strength as Luffy. I don't care about them both having Conqueror's coding or whatever other gymnastics the Zoro fans want to go through. Zoro is closer to Sanji than he is to Luffy, easily. Which brings me to an elephant in the room. Zoro glazers versus Sanji glazers. Despite all the slander Sanji fans go through, they are more reasonable when it comes to talking about strength than Zoro fans. Zoro glazers for some reason will always hate to admit that Sanji and Zoro are almost equals in strength, which is crazy considering that one is only seen cooking and simping and the other one is actually training. I don't care which one you like more, but these guys are basically—
That's what yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. Yep. Yeah.
The rivals of the crew. Yet the Zoro glaze has allowed some of y'all to act like there's some massive gap between him and Sanji. And while we're still in One Piece, it's only natural that we talk about Zoro's master as well, Dracule Mihawk. After the last video, it has come to my attention that I might have come off as a Mihawk glazer, which is probably more true than it is false. You know, it's my fault that
I can say with Zoro is that he trains. At least I can say that. At least I can actually be like, all right, cool. If he's not wandering somewhere or some shit off in the shadow realms or some shit, at least I can say it is he's putting in the work within the gym with them weights. At least I can say that. At least it is I can say that. It's like, all right, cool. We can see the level of the strength it is that he have. At least we could say that. At least.
That took Oda's word when he stated that Mihawk is the strongest swordsman in the world, which also roughly translates to the strongest person in the world who uses a sword. And you know, we've seen someone like Shanks use a sword as his primary weapon, which makes him a swordsman. But I guess I was getting too hasty. And I also like to try to be impartial, so let's talk about it. First off, as we all know, Mihawk is the strongest swordsman in One Piece and a character shrouded with mystery. When we talk about characters with self-interest, Mihawk is one of the prime examples of that. He acts of his own accord and he just spends most of his time in the series chilling. He's kind of like the max player in the game who just looks for achievements.
He said Mihawk is suffering from success for real.
Now the Mihawk glaze and the Shanks glaze are almost comparable in magnitude. One fan base uses Walmart Roger comparisons and heights, while the other clings to a single title that could potentially cause their favorite character to look like a fraud in the end. For example, why on earth is the world's strongest swordsman in the East Blue chasing Dawn Creek and bullying pre-Alabasta Straw Hats? We should also talk about his performance during Marine Ford. This man Vista was giving Mihawk the fight of his lifetime. He made Mihawk sweat so much that he had to run away. Then we can't forget the fact that this guy was getting his slashes blocked by Jozu, Crocodile, and freaking God's bones. We might actually need Alabasta Zoro to teach this man a thing or two. And he got an iceberg, I guess. To top it all off, he ran away from the right-hand bandit himself because he didn't agree to fight Shanks. And that's all this man has really done in the series. Mihawk glazers will also cling to the fact that he has a black blade, which is definitely something special, but we don't even know how this man got it. For all we know, the memes are true and he just painted the blade. But there are some people who are still saying that this man is
the blade is still hard though. I don't care. Actually, I would care if I knew the origin. I would care a lot more. But you can't even say it isn't, like, you know, it's a cold sword.
In the verse, despite the fact that this man is only shown us to be an East Blue merchant who only relies on sword skill and not his strength. The Mihawk fans are really putting all their hopes and dreams into this last arc because Mihawk needs to perform. Now, we can only hope that this segment satisfies the Shanks fans so they can finally stop yapping about Mr. Pre-Devil Fruit Blackbeard victim and release me from my shackles.
Nah, this is actually sick.
Okay, so next up we have Itachi's prototype, better known as Shisui Uchiha. Now this guy has an interesting fan base because Shisui barely has any screen time. Like, we need to go through a bunch of different mediums to learn about this character, like the novels, anime, filler, quote unquote, and even the Ninja Storm games. Like every other character in Naruto and Shippuden, Shisui grew up in the war periods of Naruto and often saw his allies getting murked. Eventually, Itachi would become his best friend, and the two would play integral roles in trying to prevent the Uchiha revolt. However, some stuff happened which led to Shisui having to delete his own character build and give his eye to Itachi. His name also gets name dropped a lot throughout the series, so this character does have an impact on the story. So unlike Itachi, who was in the story long enough to build up a reasonable number of glazers, Shisui just has a bunch of glazers just because. No problem with liking the character, but glazing and overhyping him is wild. It's either because he's an Uchiha or those eyes have deceived a bunch of y'all into glazing him. Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan ability is something called Kodo Amatsukami, which is an extremely strong genjutsu that can basically allow the user to control someone's mind to an extent. Small caveat here, but you can only use the jutsu every 10 years or once every day if you have Hashirama cells. But Shisui fans hype this jutsu up so much and will try to convince you that he's beating pain or something. It's like the Itachi fans with Totsuka Blade yapping, but worse, cause Shisui's actually just seen as a jonin in the series, albeit a very talented one. These fans will also try to talk about Shisui Susanoo, which does exist in the games and filler, which then has people talking about the validity of those forms of media. But one thing we can all agree on is that Shisui does not have a perfect Susanoo. If he was running around with a perfect Susanoo, he'd be the strongest Uchiha member at the time. He also wouldn't have had Danzo run his pockets if he had this massive drill sword too.
We need to start going over anime characters that we fucking hate. And Danzo, your ass need to be on that list. I cannot stand Danzo, bro. I cannot stand this nigga, bro. Can't stand him. If we're gonna talk about the most glazed, we need to talk about the most hated. And it a well-deserved hate. Donzo, you on that list.
Again, there's no problem with liking the character, but don't come to me saying that you think he could beat Minato or anything like that, because at that point,
hell
I know
no.
not to take you seriously. If you're enjoying the video so far and you're new, you might as well subscribe. We're mad close to
Come on,
40K, and
now.
I'd really
Come on.
appreciate the subscription. Now let's get back to a certain middle-aged man. Next up, we're talking about Mr. Toji Fushiguro, the teen hunter himself.
Listen. But I like this one. Yo, Earl. Happy birthday to you, gang. Welcome on into the chat.
And apparently, I low-key was building up some type of streak of Toji slander in my videos, which is honestly a bit surprising. Anyways, Toji Fushiguro is a character that has a bit more depth than meets the eyes. On the outside, he's an Aki guy with a bunch of weapons that just goes out and beats the brakes off of people. However, on the inside, we see someone who's been affected by the nonsense of the Zenin clan due to him having a heavenly restriction, eliminating all of his cursed energy. As we've already seen with Maki, lacking strong cursed techniques or lacking cursed energy altogether is a blight for this family, and it often leads to people being alienated. Toji was one of those who were alienated and eventually left the Zenin clan, marrying Megami's mom and seemingly finding some sort of happiness. But this is where we run into some problems with the Toji Glazers. As I've mentioned in the past, the JJK fandom is very creative, and there have been many fan-made one-shot mangas about Toji, which is fine as long as we know that they are fan-made and not canon. However, there are a good amount of Toji Glazers who try to act like these fan-made works are canon and try to talk about random events that never actually happened. Like, no, we did not see the backstory of Toji in the Zenin clan. And then there are the wholesome fan arts showing the lives of Toji and Megami's mom, and the Toji Glazers will try to delude.
Stop. Shh, stop it.
Themselves and everyone around them that this is who Toji was in the series. In reality, this guy was a deadbeat dad who was making ends meet by taking jobs to take out high school kids. High school kids that he needs prep time to take out. Toji.
Yeah. He is a deadbeat dad.
Fans always talk about him catching a pre-awakened teen Gojo lacking and essentially murking him. This fight is like the holy grail to them, but then they somehow always forget how Gojo spun back after learning RCT and was breaking this man's back.
That's because Gojo that nigga. I'm surprised it is Gojo's not onto this list.
Back in with red and turned him into the Apple logo with purple. His Gojo fight and the one against Dagon somehow brings Toji to 15-finger Sukuna level, which is an actual debate that Toji fans always bring up. And the anime didn't make this any better with how many times Toji was seen teleporting around. Now people legitimately think that this guy's a top 3 level fighter in the series when he's still just a Yuta victim. No amount of prep time is helping him against Rika or anything. And spoilers for the manga here, so skip here to avoid them. But they'll also yap about Maki being weaker than Toji when it has been stated multiple times that they are equal in strength after Maki got her awakening, which means that Maki's the only one who's been carrying Toji's power level in the series. If anything, Maki is stronger than Toji at this point because she has probably gotten stronger since this point of the story. The Toji Glazers need to stop with these agendas because they're getting crazier by the day. They are probably even worse than the Gojo Glazers, which brings us to our next character, Satoru Gojo. I low-key want to keep this part short because I'll sound
No. No. Why did you segue it like I am not gonna lie with you. It's between Toji and Gojo. Those are my two. Damn.
like a broken record. We all know that Gojo Glazers come in all sorts of fashions, whether it be because of his strength, how he looks, or even his influence on New Gen as a whole. Despite what many may say, Gojo is a well-wearing character and his abilities coincide with some of the struggles he has as the strongest. Infinity is an ability that creates an unreachable distance between Gojo and anyone or thing he doesn't want to pass that barrier. This is similar to how since Gojo is the strongest, he can never really have a strong connection between himself and others. That's why Gojo can come off as cold at times. But we all know that half the time the Gojo Glazers are not thinking about that. They are typically in the comments talking about how Gojo solos someone's favorite verse because of Infinity, which is probably one of the main reasons a lot of people hate talking about Gojo. To bypass Infinity, which is an infinite space, you need infinite speed or some type of hacks that help you touch Gojo. Now I can only imagine that this very ability has caused many broken keyboards and raging from some people because not a lot of our favorite characters can get by it. For example, if you can argue it well, keywords being argue it well, you can even claim that Gojo can beat Goku, which is an extremely controversial statement.
I'm a Gojo fan, but like, hold on, wait a minute now. Would I like to see this fight? Yes, I would. I feel like Gojo would put up a good fight, but let's be fucking for real. Be fucking for real. Be fucking for real. Now, I'm not this goddamn Delulu. I'm not this Delulu. Come on now. This? Yeah, nah, you're tweaking. You're tweaking. The fact that fans think this, yeah, nah, you're bugging. You are bugging. Bugging out. I like both of these characters, but be fucking for real. Be fucking for real.
Not even the author can deal with this ability effectively and has to do stuff like sealing Gojo to keep him out of the plot. It's things like these that explain why Gojo's top hater is the author himself. In about 10 or so years, Gojo's gonna be like the Itachi of New Gen, a character that is glazed to no end. He's probably the most popular character right now outside of obvious characters like Goku or Naruto. We've all seen it before, and I don't expect it to die down anytime soon. People will worship their blue-eyed king no matter what happens in the series. Heck, even the narrator will glaze Gojo when talking about someone else's abilities. Like, how on earth are we explaining Naobito's ability and somehow bring up Gojo in it? This man just always finds a way into anything. So next up we have Saitama. Now the next two characters, more so the last one we're talking about, have come to prominence mainly due to Goku and his fans. Saitama is a character that some
You said I have a better chance going up against Goku than Goji.
call a guy character in the sense that he's kind of just able to win any fight and surpass any limits if the plot needs it. And it's even further compounded with how Saitama got such absurd strength despite having a fairly simple workout routine. It almost gets to Toon Force levels of strength, and his nonchalant demeanor makes it pretty funny at times. But the Toon Force like strength is what gets people in a chokehold, because people quite literally believe that Saitama can beat anyone. And I'm not even joking. Any fight that he's in, the average Saitama Glazer will say that he can defeat the opponent in one punch because he's the one punch man. Saitama can also do anything in the eyes of a Saitama Glazer because he's been shown to just do a lot of things just because he can. Yes guys, Saitama is boundless and has no limits to anything. Shoot, even though we've never seen this man do elemental bending, he could probably bend all four of them and secretly be the Avatar. But we can't be too hard on Saitama fans because they don't know any better. If their MC has been shown to do crazy stuff, we are obligated to let them delude themselves into believing that they can do anything in the entire world, and that includes allowing them to think that he could be Goku. Which brings us to our last character. Why do people think it is that,
bro? Why do people think it is? Because of the fact that they are so-called the greatest within a certain anime show, they can just somehow or another just beat Goku. Wait? What? Relax. Again.
Anos Voldigoad. Now, some of y'all may not know about this guy. Some may have only heard of his name and not his show. And
you put Anos in here? Fuck.
To the 5 people who actually watched Misfit of Demon Academy, you probably know him very well. Anos is the prototypical overpowered MC, but this guy's a special case in the fact that his strength is so absurd in the series. Like, I'm talking about beating people with a heartbeat or blinking at someone and taking them out. And there's a whole other laundry list of abilities like teleportation, time stop resistance, resurrection, etc. And I know all these overpowered abilities got the power scalers hyped up. From what I've seen, a lot of the events that happen in this series is that some random is crazy disrespectful to Anos and then he just violates them. But you know, besides having repetitive plot points, there's another problem I have with this character. It's the fact that the only reason why people glaze this character, or heck, even know about this character, is because of Goku. Essentially, a bunch of people were tired of the "but can he be Goku though" jokes, and people decided to search far and wide to find characters that could even hope to be Goku. Anos is one of these characters, and I guarantee you, half of these people who even read his series were just pressed by Goku glazers. Can you imagine that? You aren't ever finding.
He was the Demon King, but he add the Riz on there as well. I don't even like using that word Riz, but I'll give that to him for Anos. Damn, I'm shocked to see that he's on this list.
Someone breaking down his character because no one cares about it. Anos and his Glazers are the only groups in anime that have actually gained clout off another character's existence. Shoot, the first time I ever heard of this character was.
What you doing with the damn lunch meat?
Actually gained clout off another character's existence. Shoot, the first time I ever heard of this character was because someone mentioned Goku. This guy could be replaced by anyone and no one would blink twice because the only value in this character's existence is that he has the capabilities to beat Goku or other strong characters. Anos Glazers are the first fandom I've ever seen in quantum superposition. They both exist and don't exist at the same time, and once you mention Goku, they spring up alive into action. Once you say that he's stronger than Goku, they're gone. It's incredible, and I don't care about how many non-existent Anos Glazers there are in the comments section. I just had to tell the truth about this character. Now, hopefully I was able to tie up all the loose ends in this video because it was a longer video than usual. I know some of y'all want a longer video, so hopefully this helped with that. If I missed any other characters, just tell me in the comments. I'll make a follow-up later, but it will probably be after some other video ideas I got in the works. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day and peace out.
Hey, listen, gang. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to you for the video. That was good. Like that. Oh, interesting name. But Olamasama, shout outs to you, gang. Thank you so much for the video. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. And shout outs to you at home. I will catch y'all in the next video.
Oh, chosen trickster.